You're listening to Crystal Clear English Podcast. Learn English the crystal clear way. And today, well, we're embarking on a really deep dive. We're looking into what we've discovered is maybe the most profound secret to true fluency. It's this ability to think directly in English. This isn't just, mastering grammar rules or memorizing long vocabulary lists. It's more fundamental. It's about fundamentally rewiring your brain, forging a deeper connection.
A more natural connection, almost instinctive with the language itself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So why is this skill, thinking in English, why is it so incredibly transformative? I mean, why focus on this?
Well, I want you to just imagine a scenario. It's super common. Pretty much every language learner bumps into this. You're in a conversation and you have this brilliant idea, or maybe just a quick thought you want to share. But before the words actually come out, your brain automatically defaults to your native language.
Instinctively, yeah.
You form the thought there, perfectly structured, makes total sense in your head. Then comes the pause, that little, sometimes long pause.
The dreaded pause. Right, and you start mentally translating it painstakingly, word by word. Then you're trying to reorder those translated words to somehow, fit English grammar, the sentence structure.
It's this multi-step process. And it feels clunky, doesn't it?
Totally unnatural. And let's be honest, it's a huge barrier to confidence.
Yeah.
That whole internal translation thing, it's like trying to navigate a really complex maze every single time you want to say something. It just drains your mental energy, slows you right down, makes that spontaneous, confident communication feel, almost impossible sometimes, perpetually out of reach.
Exactly. And that mental maze you described, that's precisely what we want to help you eliminate. Now, consider this stark contrast. When you genuinely think in English, you see a dog, and bam, the word dog just surfaces in your mind instantly.
No middle step.
No intermediary step. No conscious translation from, say, Spanish or French or whatever your native language is. You feel hungry. And your brain doesn't do this linguistic conversion. It just directly processes, I want to eat something. What's really fascinating here, if you look at it from a cognitive perspective, is how this completely bypasses that entire translation bottleneck.
Okay.
When your brain doesn't have to perform that double task, thinking in one language, then converting to another, it frees up immense cognitive resources. It's just more efficient.
Makes sense.
And the benefits are profound. Communication becomes remarkably faster. It feels incredibly smoother. It's just far more natural. This direct processing, that's the fundamental key. It leads to sounding genuinely confident, understanding others without that lag, that internal processing delay.
Yeah, you're not always playing catch up in your head.
Exactly. You truly engage with the language like it's an extension of your own thoughts. It's really the difference between, say, laboriously drawing a map every time you go somewhere versus just having an innate sense of direction.
That's a great analogy. An internal GPS for English. I like that. And that's exactly what we're going to help you build today. Our mission in this deep dive is basically to give you a practical, actionable guide. Think of it as a clear step-by-step roadmap that helps you unlock this vital skill, this thinking in English. We'll show you exactly how to start building those direct neural connections in your brain, starting right now, so you can move beyond just translating and really begin living the language.
Yeah, integrating it.
We've sifted through countless insights, practical methods, personal experiences, really, to bring you 10 transformative steps. Steps that we genuinely believe can fundamentally change your English learning journey forever.
Okay, let's unpack this journey then. We'll start with something that, it sounds deceptively simple, almost too basic maybe.
That's crucial, foundational.
Absolutely foundational. Begin by thinking in individual words, just single words. A lot of people trying to get fluent make this common mistake. They try to jump straight into constructing full, grammatically perfect sentences in their heads. Right from day one. Yeah, it's like trying to run before you can walk.
Exactly. It's like trying to run a marathon before you've even learned to walk properly. It can be incredibly overwhelming. And honestly, it often leads to frustration and maybe even giving up.
Understandably.
So the initial goal here is much simpler. It's just about building a habit of direct association, linking a concept directly to the English word without that immediate pressure of perfection. It's about gently getting your brain used to this new way, this direct link.
Making that connection automatic.
Right. So how do you actually put this into practice day to day? It's about cultivating a kind of conscious awareness of what's immediately around you and then narrating it silently, just to yourself. As you go about your day, just consciously identify objects, mentally name them in English. You see the chair you're sitting on. Mentally just think, chair. Glance at the clock. think time.
Simple, direct.
When you pick up an apple, maybe don't just think apple. Maybe add a couple of simple descriptive words that pop into your head, like apple, red, sweet.
Adding a little context.
Yeah, the more consistently you do this all day long, the more you start to consciously rewire your brain. It starts recalling the English word first automatically instead of going through that native language translation detour.
Bypassing the middleman, as you said.
Exactly. It's like creating a direct, super fast connection between the thing, the concept, and its English name. This is like the very first brick you lay for your fluency foundation.
It really is.
And here's a really powerful pro tip, something that takes this foundational step even further. It's a technique loads of successful learners swear by: the sticky note method.
The sticky notes.
Yeah.
Classic, but effective.
It sounds almost too low-tech in our digital world, right?
Yeah.
But its effectiveness is really backed by how our memory actually works with visual cues. Just take some sticky notes. Label objects in your room, your office, your kitchen, your lamp, your desk, your door, your coffee cup, your book, with their English names on.
Make them visible.
Yeah, place them prominently. Now, every single time you look at that object, you get this visual cue, and it prompts you to mentally say, or maybe even whisper softly, the English word.
It becomes automatic reinforcement.
It's incredibly effective because it creates this constant low-effort trigger. Every visual cue reinforces that mental English word day after day automatically. It strengthens the habit without you even feeling like you're studying.
It's a kind of subtle but really powerful environmental immersion, turning your space into a passive language lab.
Exactly. A language lab you live in.
What's truly fascinating about the sticky note method and why it works so well is how ingeniously it leverages what we know about direct mental association and contextual learning. You're actively training your brain, you see, to forge a direct link between the visual of the object and its English label. It completely bypasses that native language intermediary.
Right. So no mesa, then table. Just see it. Think table.
Precisely. Instead of your brain going door in your native language, then consciously thinking, okay, now what's door in English? It immediately jumps from the image of the door straight to the English word door. This method is particularly effective because it taps into the brain's natural ability to create strong, multi-sensory associations. You're seeing it, maybe touching it, then mentally naming it in English. You're building these robust neural pathways that are exclusive to English. You're minimizing those detours through your native tongue. This foundation of direct word association, simple as it might seem, is surprisingly robust. It lays critical groundwork for more complex thought processes later on.
Okay.
It starts creating that initial English-only mental space, even if it's just for single words. It makes them readily available for when you need them.
Okay, so once you're comfortable with those single words, once chair or apple or door comes to mind instantly, here's where it gets really interesting. You can then sort of gracefully level up. You move on to simple sentences.
The next natural step.
Yeah, and this isn't about crafting, a literary masterpiece in your head. Not at all. It's about forming short, basic sentences mentally throughout your day. Think of it like training your inner voice, maybe giving it an English accent, metaphorically speaking.
Getting used to thinking in English patterns.
Right. So, for instance, if you're feeling a bit peckish, you mentally articulate, I am hungry. Or you glance outside, the sun's beaming. Consciously think, the sun is bright. Sipping your morning coffee, this coffee is hot. Simple stuff.
Everyday observations.
Exactly. Now, this practice, it might feel a little strange at first, almost like you're having this silent conversation with yourself all day.
And in a way, you are.
Yeah. But this internal monologue, this constant mental narration of your immediate reality, it's absolutely crucial. It's vital for developing that natural flow of thought in English.
Building fluency from the inside out.
You're actively engaging your brain in sentence construction. Even if it's just a basic subject-verb-object structure like I drink water, this consistent internal practice, it solidifies correct word order. It helps you intuitively grasp verb tenses, the feel of them. It reinforces fundamental sentence structures.
And it all without the pressure of speaking out loud yet.
Right, no pressure. You're building the mental muscle memory for English thought patterns, making them more automatic, less effortful over time.
It's like doing mental reps at the gym, isn't it? Strengthening those linguistic muscles, just silently.
That's a perfect way to put it, mental reps. And here's a bonus tip. Something that really helps bridge that gap between this internal thinking and actually speaking. Incorporate mirror practice.
Talking to yourself in the mirror. Sounds a bit odd, but it works.
It really does. Dedicate just a few minutes every morning, maybe while you're getting ready, brushing your teeth or whatever. Speak out loud to yourself in the mirror. Look yourself in the eye. Describe how you feel right then. I feel a bit tired today, but also excited for my plans. Talk about your plans for the day. I need to go to the grocery store later, then I'll work on my presentation. Or just describe what you're doing right then and there. I am brushing my teeth. I am combing my hair.
Real-time narration, but out loud.
Exactly. This is powerful because it combines that mental thinking with actual verbal practice, which is so important for building confidence, right?
Definitely.
And for articulating thoughts spontaneously. Getting accustomed to the actual sound of your own voice speaking English, it takes those silent thoughts and gives them a voice, makes them more tangible, reinforces the connections for both understanding and production.
If we connect this to the bigger picture then, the systematic progression
Yeah.
from single words to simple sentences, and especially adding that mirror practice. It's really about moving English from being just a subject you study.
Like maths or history.
Right. To becoming a language you actually live in. By mentally narrating your day, and then sometimes verbalizing it, you're making English an intrinsic part of your continuous experience. You're transitioning it from this academic thing to an organic living tool you use constantly.
So learning becomes constant, integrated.
Precisely. And profoundly effective because of that. You're essentially transforming every waking moment into a kind of immersive English class without ever needing a classroom or textbook. This consistent low-stakes practice ensures English isn't just boxed off into study time. It becomes the default lens, the way you perceive and process your daily activities.
Wow.
It's about weaving language learning into the very fabric of your existence, making it feel eventually effortless and natural.
Okay, so what does all this mean for your actual, minute-to-minute everyday life? This next step is really about integrating that English thinking seamlessly into everything you do, turning your entire daily routine into a constant flowing narrative in English.
Taking it up a notch from simple sentences.
Yeah, it's the natural evolution, pushing you to articulate slightly more complex thoughts. Instead of just thinking, I am hungry, you might expand it. Like, okay, I am brushing my teeth right now, and then I think I'll make coffee. And oh yeah, I really need to finish my work by 5 p.m. today before my online class starts.
Connecting thoughts, planning ahead, all in English.
Right. The core idea here is to basically talk yourself through your day, mentally, from the moment you wake up till you go to bed. Describe your actions. I'm making my bed now, smoothing out the sheets. Describe your plans. I need to remember to call Sarah later. Your observations. The traffic looks bad today. Your feelings. I'm feeling pretty good this morning. Even hypothetical conversations. If my boss asks about the report, I'll say.
It sounds like a lot, but it becomes second nature.
It does. And the key benefit, the truly revolutionary part, is that this approach effectively removes the need for special study time.
No more guilt about not sitting down with a grammar book.
Exactly. You're no longer carving out a separate hour to do English. Instead, you're leveraging every mundane moment, every transition between tasks, every quiet internal thought. You're turning your entire life into an immersive learning experience.
Your brain is constantly working in English.
Constantly. Reinforcing vocabulary, solidifying grammar patterns, improving sentence structures, all in a real-world, context-rich environment. It's incredibly efficient because you're using time you already have. You don't need extra time. Okay, now let's tackle one of the biggest roadblocks. One of the most stubborn habits for so many language learners.
Translation reflex.
Exactly, that automatic translation reflex. We hear about it constantly. It's often this deeply ingrained habit, maybe unintentionally reinforced by how we first learned languages.
Or just how our brains try to make sense of things initially.
Right, but it's incredibly detrimental if you're aiming for true fluency. The fundamental problem with translation being your default mode is that it inherently slows down your thinking massively. Every single time you want to express an idea or understand something new or even just form a simple thought, your brain takes this detour.
Through your native language.
Yes. It first processes everything in your native language, then it translates into English. And often it even translates back again, maybe for confirmation or just deeper understanding.
It's a multi-step mental juggling act.
It really is. And it creates this significant barrier to fluency. It acts like a constant mental speed bump. It's like trying to have a fluid, rapid-fire conversation while constantly having to flip through a mental dictionary for every other word.
Exhausting.
Totally. This intellectual overhead just consumes valuable brain power and dramatically impedes spontaneity.
So the shift needs to happen in the mindset.
Crucially, Instead of your brain automatically asking, okay, what's the English word for this thing I'm thinking of in my language? The goal is to train it to directly connect the English word with the actual object or idea itself.
Bypassing the native language entirely.
You're aiming to cut out that intermediary. It's about focusing on feeling the meaning, understanding the concept, experiencing the sensory input directly through the English word or phrase, not needing to translate it into an equivalent back home.
So when you hear cat, you picture the animal, its sound, its feel.
Exactly. Not your native word for cat first. You should immediately picture the furry, whiskered animal itself, maybe its purr, its behavior, all those associated concepts linked directly to the English word cat.
Building the meaning within English.
Let me give you a powerful illustration, something that really drives this home, a concept we've seen work wonders. Imagine your native language has a word, let's just say dude, for milk. Okay?
Okay.
The old inefficient habit would be for your brain to think, dude, then consciously or maybe even unconsciously translate that to milk.
Right. Dude equals milk.
But the goal here, the shift, is to train your brain so that when you see milk, or even just think about milk, you directly connect it to the concept within the English framework. So you think, milk, white drink I like in the morning, goes with cereal, comes from a cow.
Ah, defining it by its properties and associations in English.
Precisely. You're not defining it by another word from a different language. You're defining it by its attributes, its function, its sensory experience, all expressed and understood in English.
This method systematically helps your brain build those direct neural pathways.
It's like creating a dedicated high-speed mental link, straight from the concept to the English word, bypassing any inefficient detour through your native language. This is really where that effortless fluency starts to bloom.
And this point about bypassing translation, it raises a really critical question, doesn't it? Are you just swapping one word label for another, like a superficial linguistic substitution?
Right, just replacing dude with milk as symbols.
Or are you truly building a robust conceptual understanding directly in English? The latter, that deeper understanding, is the profound key to really eliminating that mental middleman. When you understand milk, not just as the direct equivalent of dude, but as the white cool drink for my cereal, or what comes from a cow, or an ingredient I use for baking, you're attaching this rich tapestry of meaning directly to the English word itself.
Okay, I see.
You're creating a complex network of associations within English, allowing the language to function as a self-contained, self-referential system inside your mind. This direct conceptual understanding is precisely what eliminates the need for internal translation, because the meaning is already there, intrinsically embedded in the English construct.
It makes English independent in your head.
Exactly. It's about building a fully functional English meaning-making machine in your brain, independent of your native tongue.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Now let's talk about how to really supercharge your thinking, using the incredibly rich English-speaking world that's literally all around us.
Tapping into available resources.
Yes. This is all about intelligently leveraging the visual and audio impact so readily available, especially now in the digital age. But here's the crucial distinction. This isn't just about consuming content passively, like letting it wash over you. It's about active, deliberate engagement that really fuels your thinking in English habit.
Active, not passive. Key difference.
Think about strategic immersion. Instead of just having an English TV show on in the background while you do other things, actively watch it, maybe with English subtitles on. But don't just read the subtitles. Try to connect the spoken words you hear with the visual cues on screen and the written text. Make those connections.
Multimodal learning.
Listen to podcasts like this one while you're walking or commuting or doing chores. Choose topics you genuinely enjoy because interest keeps you focused and helps you absorb things naturally.
Motivation is huge.
Follow simple English YouTube channels. Maybe ones focused on instructions or hobbies or light entertainment. They often use more straightforward language, which is great for building confidence. The core principle, though, isn't just listening or watching. It's truly engaging your brain.
How do you mean engaging?
Well, as you're consuming this content, consciously practice active mental participation. Don't just let the words flow past. Pause occasionally. You can physically hit pause or just do it mentally for a second and actively ask yourself, okay, what would I say here if I were in this conversation?
Putting yourself in the scene.
Or how would I respond to what that character just said? Try to predict what might happen next in the story or the discussion and articulate that prediction mentally in English. Maybe you hear a new phrase you like. Pause. Try to use it mentally in a sentence of your own.
So it's not passive absorption, it's active simulation.
Exactly. You're essentially simulating a real conversation inside your head, which directly feeds and strengthens that thinking in English habit.
It forces your brain to process, formulate responses, articulate thoughts, all in English, even if no one else hears it.
Right. And this continuous internal dialogue, it builds remarkable speed, spontaneity, and confidence in your English processing over time. You're getting some really incredible insights here into how to truly master English. We're laying out a roadmap that's genuinely transformative, we believe.
We really are trying to distill the core strategies.
And if you're finding this deep dive helpful, if you want more amazing stuff just like this, please make sure to follow and subscribe to this channel.
Yeah, your support really helps us keep creating this kind of content.
It absolutely does. It lets us know we're on the right track, providing value.
Indeed. And these methods we're discussing, they are remarkably powerful when applied consistently. Consistent engagement with content like this, thinking about these strategies, it will only accelerate your progress. So don't miss out on future insights. Every new deep dive we offer builds upon the foundation we're establishing today. We're aiming to create an increasingly comprehensive toolkit for your language journey.
Right.
The more you immerse yourself consciously, the more those subtle, powerful shifts in your thinking will start to happen.
Okay, this next strategy is a really clever trick, actually. It helps train your brain by capitalizing on habit formation. The idea is to intentionally create specific English-only zones.
Designating mental spaces.
Exactly. The concept is simple, but it's incredibly effective when you stick to it. You choose specific times or specific places where your absolute commitment is. Only think in English. No exceptions allowed in that zone. No quickly reverting to your native language, even for a fleeting thought about what to make for dinner.
Discipline is key here.
It is. So this could be a dedicated part of your morning routine. For example, maybe while you're in the shower, that 5 or 10 minutes is your designated English-only zone. You mentally narrate your morning, plan your day, maybe even imagine conversations you might have, all in English.
Or your commute.
Perfect. Or during your morning walk. As you observe the world around you, the trees, the cars, the people, everything you notice is mentally labeled and described in English. Even something simple, like while you're cooking dinner. You narrate the steps to yourself. Okay, now I'm chopping the onions. Think about the ingredients, the flavors, all exclusively in English.
The specific time or place isn't the magic bullet, it's the consistency.
Absolutely, the consistency of your commitment to that zone. The idea is you're deliberately creating this dedicated, exclusive mental space just for English. You're signaling to your brain, okay, for this duration or in this location, English is the only operating language.
And the brain learns that association.
It really does. The impact is profound over time. It builds a remarkably strong mental habit. Your brain starts to associate that specific activity or that physical location with English, and pretty soon it begins switching automatically into English mode during those designated moments. It's like setting a mental toggle switch.
Like flipping a switch when you step into the shower. Okay, English time.
Exactly. This deliberate practice in these controlled, low-pressure environments, it helps generalize the habit to other areas of your life, too. It makes the eventual transition to thinking in English more broadly feel smoother, much more natural over time.
It removes the effort of deciding to think in English.
Yes. It transforms it into an ingrained, automatic response, which actually reduces your cognitive load significantly.
And this technique, it powerfully leverages core principles we know about habit formation and contextual conditioning. It really does. By consistently associating a specific activity, like showering or a place like your walk, with English-only thinking, you're building an incredibly powerful mental trigger.
Like Pavlov's dogs, but for language.
Kind of. It's analogous to how certain smells can trigger vivid memories, or specific sounds might signal it's time for a particular task. You are, in essence, creating a conditioned linguistic response within your own brain. This deliberate structuring of your environment, it systematically reinforces the desired linguistic behavior. It makes activating English thought more automatic, faster, and feel less effortful.
It's a smart way to train your brain.
It's a highly effective way to train your brain to adopt new cognitive patterns. Simply by linking them cleverly to existing routines, you're building new neurological muscle memory for the language.
Yeah, okay. So thinking is primarily internal, we've established that. But speaking, actually verbalizing, helps solidify those internal thoughts into tangible, retrievable language.
Makes it real.
Yeah. So this next step brings an external element into play, which is incredibly valuable for accelerating your progress. It's all about actively practicing, either with a partner or smartly leveraging AI tools.
Bringing the outside world in.
The benefit of engaging in genuine conversation is just immense. Interacting with someone else in English where you have to think quickly, respond in real time, adapt to their style, it significantly speeds up your progress.
Pushes you.
Definitely. It forces you to retrieve words faster, structure sentences on the fly, understand subtle nuances in tone or intent, manage the conversational flow. It's the ultimate real-world application of all that internal thinking you've been practicing.
Takes it off the practice field and into the game.
Exactly. It pushes you out of your comfort zone and into active, spontaneous production. And this active use rapidly strengthens those internal English thought processes.
And luckily, we live in an age where practice options are abundant.
So many accessible options. You can find an online speaking partner. There are tons of language exchange platforms out there. Often you find people who want to learn your native language, so it's mutually beneficial. You support each other.
Win-win.
Or if you're maybe not quite ready for a human partner yet, or you just want more flexibility, maybe a pressure-free zone, utilize the incredible power of AI applications.
The AI tools are getting really good.
They're fantastic. Tools like ChatGPT, Claude, Notebook LM, they're brilliant for simulating realistic conversations. You can have a continuous back and forth dialogue, ask questions, explain complex ideas, narrate your day, even role-play specific scenarios like a job interview.
And they respond intelligently in English.
Yeah, giving you this unparalleled chance to practice formulating thoughts and responses in real time whenever you want.
And for those who feel shy,
Right. For those of you listening who might be feeling a bit shy, maybe intimidated by the idea of speaking with a human partner right away, and believe me, that's completely normal.
very common.
These AI tools are invaluable. They provide a safe, totally non-judgmental space. You can get used to thinking quickly, responding spontaneously in English without any social pressure.
No fear of embarrassment.
Absolutely zero fear of embarrassment or mispronunciation or making grammatical errors in front of someone else. You can experiment freely, make loads of mistakes, correct yourself repeatedly without feeling self-conscious at all.
It's a safe sandbox.
Exactly. This low-pressure environment lets you build foundational confidence and speed before you maybe transition to human interaction. It makes that eventual leap much less daunting. It's like having your own personal batting cage for your brain. Lets you swing freely, refine your technique, build solid linguistic muscle memory.
That's a great way to think about it.
Now, this next point, it's a really crucial mindset shift for so many people, and honestly, it's something we all struggle with, regardless of what we're learning. It's the vital importance of embracing and even accepting mistakes.
Letting go of perfectionism.
Yes. When it comes to thinking in English or learning any new language, the core message has to be crystal clear. Your overarching goal is fluidity. It's confidence in communication. It is not initial grammatical perfection.
Learning is messy.
It absolutely is. It's an iterative journey, not a fixed destination. And mistakes are an absolutely inevitable, maybe even a necessary part of that learning curve. You learn from them.
So what does that mean for your internal thinking practice?
Well, practically, it means you should consciously choose not to stop and mentally correct every single tiny error. Don't let a misplaced a or the or a slightly wrong verb tense or a forgotten preposition completely halt your entire thought process.
Keep the flow going.
Keep that mental conversation flowing. And crucially, do not judge yourself harshly if a sentence isn't perfect in your head, that internal critic. It can be your biggest enemy, constantly undermining your confidence, slowing your progress right down.
Analysis paralysis.
Totally. If you constantly interrupt your thoughts to self-correct, you'll never achieve the speed, the spontaneity, the natural rhythm that's necessary for true fluency. Your brain learns through continuous exposure, through repetition, through consistent use, not through beating yourself up over minor slips.
Like learning to ride a bike, as you said earlier.
Exactly. You don't instantly become a Tour de France cyclist. You wobble, you might fall off a few times, but you keep pedaling, you keep trying. And eventually, the balance comes naturally, effortlessly. The goal is momentum, not immediate perfection.
At this point about embracing mistakes, it really does raise a profound question about the psychology of language learning, particularly around the role of perfectionism. Perfectionism, while it seems like a positive trait, striving for excellence, it can actually be a truly paralyzing force in language acquisition.
I've seen that happen.
If your sole focus is on flawless execution right from day one, you're highly likely to experience significant anxiety, frustration, and just an understandable reluctance to even try to engage actively with the language. The emphasis here, as we've seen in countless successful language journeys, has to be on forward momentum, on clear, effective communication, even if it's grammatically imperfect at first.
Getting the message across is key.
Right. By prioritizing the message you want to convey over absolute grammatical precision, especially in the early stages, you allow fluency to develop organically. It grows through consistent, uninhibited practice. Your brain is an incredibly powerful pattern recognition machine. The more you use English, even with errors, the more it naturally self-corrects and refines those patterns over time, just through exposure and feedback.
You trust the process.
You trust the process. This approach fosters resilience, it maintains motivation, and it encourages continuous engagement. And those things are far more critical for long-term success than chasing immediate and often elusive perfection.
Okay, here's a fantastic way to not only consolidate all that daily thinking you'll be doing, but also to tangibly track and, importantly, celebrate your progress. Keep a thinking journal.
Writing it down.
Yeah, it's a simple habit, but profoundly powerful. It truly brings your internal English world out into a visible, trackable form.
Makes the progress concrete.
Exactly. The method is straightforward. It shouldn't feel like a chore. Every evening, just take a few minutes, maybe 5, maybe 10. Write a short paragraph or 2 in English about your day. Don't overthink it. Don't worry about perfect grammar or spelling. Just jot down whatever comes to mind naturally, like a stream of consciousness, but about your day.
What kind of things would you write?
Well, what did you do that day? I went to the market and bought some fresh vegetables, which was a nice break from work. What did you feel? I felt a bit tired in the afternoon after my workout, but happy and productive after a good walk. What did you learn or observe? I learned a new phrasal verb today from that podcast, and it made me think about...
A quick free-flowing recap.
Exactly. Focusing on your thoughts, actions, observations, emotions from the day, whatever stands out.
And the long-term benefit.
The long-term benefit of this thinking journal is really remarkable and I think often underestimated. When you go back, maybe after a few weeks or a few months, and read your old entries, you'll have undeniable, tangible proof of your improvement.
You can see the growth.
You'll visibly see how your vocabulary has expanded, how your sentence structures have become more complex, more natural, how your overall ability to just articulate your thoughts and feelings in English has grown.
That must be incredibly motivating.
It's hugely motivating to witness your own progress written out like that, showcasing the results of your consistent effort. It serves as this powerful personal record of your journey toward English fluency.
Reinforces that the small steps add up.
Absolutely. It reinforces that vital idea. Consistent small efforts lead to genuinely significant cumulative results. Plus, as a side benefit, it helps solidify those mental narrations you've been doing all day into written form, helping to lock them into your long-term memory.
Double benefit.
Right. Now, this 10th and final step, it might sound a bit deep, maybe a bit philosophical even.
Thinking about thinking.
Exactly. It's incredibly powerful, though, for truly accelerating your progress and moving beyond just forming habits to achieving genuine mastery. It's about thinking what psychologists call metacognition, applying it to language learning.
Being aware of your own process.
Precisely. Essentially, it means consciously reflecting on your own thought process in real time, observing how your brain is actually handling English as you use it internally.
But how do you actively do that?
It involves asking yourself very specific self-questions just occasionally throughout the day, often just for a second or two. When you're mentally narrating your activities or maybe silently responding to something you heard or read, just pause briefly and ask, am I thinking directly in English right now?
Checking it with yourself.
Or, if a thought just popped into your head, consider, did that thought just get translated from my native language, or did it actually come to me naturally and immediately in English?
Like having a little internal observer.
Yeah, exactly. Like having a friendly little observer in your mind, constantly checking in on your language processing, shining a spotlight on those often unconscious mental habits.
And the outcome of that awareness.
The outcome of this conscious self-monitoring is profound and highly impactful. The more aware you become of your mental habits, specifically spotting whether you're translating or thinking directly, the faster you can identify and consciously interrupt those old translation habits we're trying so hard to break.
Awareness enables change.
Precisely. Once you spot them, you can immediately and consciously work to redirect your thought process, replacing that translation step with direct English thinking.
You're bringing an unconscious automatic process into your conscious awareness, which then gives you the incredible power to actively reshape it.
So you become your own coach?
In a way, yes. This metacognitive approach empowers you to be your own language coach, actively guiding your brain towards more natural, fluent, and efficient English thought patterns. It dramatically accelerates the breaking of old, inefficient patterns and the formation of new, more streamlined ones, ultimately leading to true fluency much, much faster. #tag closing thoughts and the mindset shift. If we connect all these 10 steps back to the bigger picture, thinking in English, it really transcends being just another skill you acquire, or merely a set of techniques you learn.
It feels deeper than that.
It is deeper. It's a fundamental shift in your mindset, a profound transformation in your whole relationship with the English language.
Right.
It means you stop perceiving English as merely a subject you studied in school, or a difficult task you have to complete, or some external tool you awkwardly pick up and use. Instead, you begin to genuinely live it. English becomes an integrated, organic part of who you are, a natural extension of your identity and your daily experience. When you reach that point, English ceases to be just an external instrument. It becomes an internal operating system for your thoughts, your perceptions, your very understanding of the world around you. It truly transforms your relationship with the language and, in many ways, enhances your sense of self.
That's the ultimate goal, isn't it? And it feels absolutely within. Adopt that incremental approach. Just begin with one word, then expand to one simple sentence. Then just focus on one day at a time, making English thinking a small, manageable part of your daily routine. Each tiny step builds upon the last. It forms this unbreakable chain of progress, building momentum that will carry you forward faster than you might think. And the promise of this approach, it really is effortless fluency down the line. With consistent, mindful practice, English won't just be something you speak, it will be something you think in, naturally.
It becomes part of you.
And when that happens, you'll discover that conversations just flow more naturally, understanding comes more easily, and you'll communicate with a level of confidence and freedom you might not have even thought possible before. You've absolutely got this. Start now, one thought at a time. And hey, if you enjoyed this deep dive, if you got value from it and want more amazing stuff like this, please make sure to follow and subscribe to this channel.
We appreciate the support.
Thank you so much for listening to the Crystal Clear English Podcast.
Learning another language is like becoming another person.